Hello and welcome to Empower Her, the program that celebrates and supports women in Nigeria and beyond. My name, of course, is Nwachinemere, and I'm your host for this program. I am passionate about empowering women to achieve their full potentials because over the years, we women have been marginalized as well as underrepresented. And it is time that we act up and let our voices be heard. In this program, we'll explore various topics that are relevant and important for women, such as leadership, entrepreneurship, education, health, and so much more. We also feature inspiring stories of women who are making a difference in their fields and communities. Our goal is simple. Our goal is to inform, to inspire, and to empower you, my beautiful ladies, to pursue your dreams and your passions. In the 21st century, women have made outstanding progress towards independence and, of course, empowerment. However, we continue to face a labyrinth of multifaceted challenges shaped by societal norms. We have family expectations, media influence, and even religious convictions. Our episode, Creating a Balance for the 21st Century Woman, delves into the intricate dynamics that shape and, of course, sometimes constrains a woman's freedom. We aim to unravel the impact of these influences on women's lives and, of course, to provide insights into achieving a harmonious equilibrium between personal aspirations, societal expectations, and self-expression. I promise it is going to be a very riveting show today. So you want to remain seated for it. We'll go on a short break and be back in a moment. Welcome back to Empower Her. If you are just joining us, don't worry, you haven't missed much. If you haven't done so, please follow us on our social media platforms, all of which you can find on our website at www.spectrumtvlive.ng. You can also connect with me on my personal social media account on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X at Nwachinemere. I enjoy interacting with you. And don't forget that you are welcome to send in your questions, your concerns, or your stories by emailing me at bestnwachinemere60@gmail.com. As much as I'm able, I'll try to take on as many as I can here on the program, of course, answer you directly. If I'm unable to do any of that, I could always connect you with the right person to talk to you depending on the situation that you are in. And don't worry, your identity would always remain anonymous either way. Now, let's embark on our journey through the complex web of influences and challenges faced by the 21st century woman. Our exploration begins by scrutinizing the role of parental and family influence, the expectations and upbringing that we as women experience within our families can profoundly affect our choices and our freedom. How do these familial dynamics shape our lives? Now, I want you to sit back and reflect on all the choices that you have made so far in your life. And those choices that you made, especially because of the way you were brought up. Of course, that is not necessarily a bad thing. I know that, especially if you were fortunate to have had a good and supportive upbringing. Again, moving forward is the societal pressures. Media and cultural norms define the standards women are expected to meet. And whether we like it or not, these external influences impact a woman's sense of self and her choices. Now, how about the complex intersection between traditional religious standards and modern feminist ideals? The question is, how do women reconcile their personal beliefs and values with the religious expectations placed upon them? As a woman, you must be a certain way at certain times or even at all times. When we all know that these limitations are not placed on men, it makes it even more difficult for us. We also find this in our personal relationships as women, partners, whether boyfriends or fiancés or husbands. These people play a vital role in either contributing to or elevating the pressures on us women. These relationships shape a woman's self or a sense of self and of course freedom in so many ways and on so many levels. Now let's examine the intriguing disparities in standard and expectations for men and for women in our contemporary society. Now, how do these differing standards influence the choices and freedom of 21st century women? And what do they reveal about our society's evolving dynamics? And of course, how can women navigate the fine line between maintaining standards and upholding their individuality without being overwhelmed? As usual, I will not do this alone. I took the initiative to invite a man so that we can also hear from and learn from the male gender. That way, it's not just a woman speaking up for women. You know, a woman has to speak up for women all the time. This time around, let a man speak for women. And I am thankful that we are in an age when men also speak out for women. Shout out to the men out there who are constantly supporting us. But for now, let us go on a quick break. When we come back, our guest for today will join us. Here's an expo on who he is. He is the lead tutor and coordinator for TIELI, an International Language Learning Institute. And I'm so excited to have him here today. Welcome back to Empower Her. Of course, today we have been talking about the 21st century woman. Now, let's engage in a reverting discussion with our guest, who will share with us his valuable insights and diverse perspective on achieving balance in a world filled with expectations. As we traverse this intricate terrain, we invite you to actively participate, share your questions, your thoughts, your insights, and your personal experiences on our social media platforms, Facebook at Spectrum NG, X at Spectrum T Online, and connect with me directly on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X at Best Nwachinemere. Your voices, your stories, these are instrumental in shaping these conversations. Now, join me to welcome Mr. Imo Essien, the lead tutor and coordinator for TIELI, an International Language Learning Institute. Bonjour, Imo. How are you today? Oh, I was supposed to say bonjour, ça va?
Bonjour, oui, bonjour, je vais bien, merci et vous.
Oui, oui. How are you doing today? I spoke the French to tell you that you cannot intimidate me. I can also speak foreign languages. How are you today?
Well, I wasn't planning to intimidate you. I'm very well, thank you. And how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And I'm so excited to have you here with me on Empower Her discussing women. It's always a joy when we get to discuss women with men.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And now, talking about discussing women with men, I want to ask you a question. How can women navigate the expectations placed on them by their parents? Because for me, this is huge, because it's literally the foundation. So how can women navigate these expectations placed on them by parents and their families, especially while pursuing their own dreams and their desires?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, it's important, before answering that question, it's important for women to first define these expectations, because expectations differ from family, and the expectations of each family is defined by a number of factors, one of which includes the cultural background of that family, and of course the financial capacity of that family. So these are few of the factors that determine what the expectation of that family is or would be on that female. Yes. Now, having firstly understood what the expectation of your family is, you then go ahead to ask yourself if sometimes some ladies want to pursue these expectations, you understand? And if that's what you want to do, you want to pursue this expectation, that's totally okay. But if you want to digress from these expectations, then you first need to first understand your own person. That's self understanding your own self. What do you want? If it's diverse from the expectations, you then go ahead to see how you can align your own goals to your own personality and pursue them. Do you understand? At the same
Yes.
time, I would like to acknowledge that families' expectations, no matter how extreme they may be, are always in good faith and shouldn't be very far from what the woman or the lady would want for herself. Yes. So, to your question, in how can a lady be able to manage the
The expectations.
expectations of a family? These expectations are not bad, but if you want to do, you first need to understand your own self. In understanding your own self, you will know how to digress from your family's expectations. So that's what I would say on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and that is beautiful. I especially like the part where you said that the expectations of the family should not differ from the personal goals and dreams and desires and aspirations of these women. But then when you manage to break away or to balance these expectations between yourself and what your family expects from you, there is also the media. There is also the role the media plays. Now, how about that? What role, rather, does the media play in shaping our perception of what it means to be a successful woman in the 21st century? Because we keep hearing a lot of all these narratives. This is how a woman should be, or this is who a successful woman is in the 21st century, and all this is from the media. So how can we, or how can the media help in these aspects?
Okay. Firstly, how? Okay, you question. How can the media help in um, shaping success to the 21st century woman? Success is first relative. Again, I repeat, success is relative. What is success to one isn't to another. To one woman, success might be maybe being the general manager of a particular bank and then having a good home and then coming back by 7 p.m. to a well prepared meal by your husband and having children in a boarding school. To one woman, that might be success. But then to another woman, success might be staying at home, not going to work, okay, and having children who are in school, not in boarding school, now day-to-day school and all of that. So success is first relative to and unique to each woman. Okay. However, the media's role in defining success is instrumental and it can be destructive at the same time, advantageous. Yes.
Yes.
From over time, we've seen how the woman has, how the media has subtly shaped what a woman should be. We see this from advertisements from different companies. For instance, I wouldn't call brands, but you would see how that these advertisements um, subtly tell the woman that her role is at home taking care of children. Okay, now as much
Yes.
as this isn't bad in itself, this is not what a lot of women would want for
Want.
themselves, which is
Yes.
totally fine. However, because the media is adversely received by many, it goes a long way in shaping the perception of many, thereby making many people in the society want these things for women. And so the media is sending a message that this should be. Okay? Again, as much
Yes.
as that is in itself not bad, it is problematic when a woman does not want that. So she is then forced subtly to fit into that image. And when she doesn't, she is perceived as a rebel. Yes.
Yes.
So the media has played a seemingly dangerous role in attempting to define what a successful woman should be.
Should
However,
be.
I must also acknowledge that there's been some kind of change in the message portrayed by the media. This we've seen advertisements, even on social platforms, where we see women in corporate. Yes, the media has a strong message, and despite the fact that there's been some dangerous portrayal, we've seen some kind of adjustment. So Yes, there's a balance being struck here.
Yes, yes. I'm also thankful for that, and that is why I say that this is a wonderful time to be a woman. Now, Imo, there's something you wrote on your social media or as a response, and it really got me excited and interested. And I would like to ask you that you said somewhere that I won't read the whole write up, but you said this is a part that stood out for me. Women aren't exactly allowed to leave. Now, that is the conversation I want to have. Women, and you went ahead to say something about the Bible also contributes to this. Currently, there's a strong struggle between the biblical and cultural standards. I don't want to go ahead reading all of that, but I want to hear like what was going through your mind when you read this, because a lot of people are not going to believe, and it's different when it's coming from a man. Because if I sit here and I say that, people are going to say, yeah, she's a woman, of course it's understandable that she has to talk this way. So when is a man saying it, it really drew my attention. So that is what I want to talk about now.
Okay, to the quotes you just made reference to, I can't remember exactly, but I'm certain that it was a response to a particular comment made on the post. Yes,
Yes, yes.
and you quoted how that I said, of course, that women aren't exactly to be, and that there's a struggle between the standard. Yes,
Yes, yeah.
it's quite sensitive,
Yes, it's
of
quite
course,
sensitive.
making reference to the Bible. So I'll thread carefully, especially because I expect that I have a lot of persons viewing me of different backgrounds, different religions, and all of that.
Yes.
Yes. However, it is undeniable that we have observed that many um, religious sectors, especially in Africa, which the principal religions are Christianity and the Islam religion, of course. Yes, of course, not neglecting the traditional religion. Yes, but let's align the traditional religion to our cultural belief, because our cultural beliefs and our traditional religion have a lot of similarities. So let's create a merger there. Yes, we have seen that from a religious perspective and a cultural perspective, women are built, women are modeled, women are formed, women are counseled to be a certain way,
Yes.
and that way is more like a form of servitude to um, to the man and the society at large. Okay, and to the society at large, of course, this includes the family. Again, I would like to say that in themselves, these things aren't bad,
They are not
but the
necessarily
problem
bad.
is the
Yes.
exaggeration and the extended emphasis. Yes, the exaggeration and the extended emphasis. This is what is causing a form of pressure to the woman. Yes, women aren't everybody, every human born into this world has or grow up to have an image that they would like to be. So imagine the frustration you would encounter having your self-image, what you want to be, and then having something that you are forced to be or certainly cajoled to be. So that pressure is what even causes for the rebellion that we have today.
Yeah.
Now you would see a lot of women saying, "I don't want to be this." So to be that identity, they are just that rebellion just becomes natural.
Yes.
Yes. So I think I wouldn't be making a mistake where I would say that somewhere deep down in a lot of women, they don't have a problem being that homely image that has been created for them. Yes, the problem, the reason for the rebellion is because they are now being forced to become it. If
Yes.
pampered, if allowed, if nurtured, if um,
Allowed to be
given
herself,
the opportunity to
to do
choose
that for
that
herself, to choose
identity,
it.
trust me,
Yes.
they would do it exactly. They will do it with all perfection, and it's going to be beautiful. There will be so much balance in the society.
Yes.
So again, our culture and religion that is innocently propagating this forceful identity is creating a system of rebellion. And if continued to be in the years to come, I mean, come on, there would be very little or nothing remaining of the home, as it were. So
Yes.
that's my take on that.
And do you know one thing? When you said that is the absence of choice that makes a lot of women decide to rebel, I agree with you 100% because it's just like home doing chores. Now, I always ask
Mm-hmm.
this. You have a young woman who is living alone and she works, she has her own job, and you have a man, a young man who is living alone and doing the exact same job as the woman. Now that man not having a kitchen utensils, that man not ever having to cook is never frowned upon. He's seen how he works, how he's single, it's just him. Nobody frowns at it. He takes his clothes to get to the laundromat to go and get washed. Nobody even like looks at him twice. But let's it be the woman. Remember that they are
Round at
both
it.
living alone separately and they're both doing the same job, and it's a woman who says, oh, I need to order takeout, I did not cook, because I'm living alone. People be like, but you are a woman, you should be cooking. Now there are some women who do not have a problem doing any of this, but when you take away the choice, when you tell them because you are a woman you have to sit down and you have to cook 3 square meals even if nobody is going to eat it, it becomes a lot of people rebel. A lot of people rebel, and that is just talking about it in a traditional cultural sense. As a woman, you have to sit back down. You are married. You have a husband. Both of you are working, but you are expected to wake up earlier to take care of the children. You expected to stay up late uh, to take care of the home, and you also working. Now a lot of women can do this effortlessly because let's be honest, it comes would I say it comes with the conditioning or it comes with the gender, but a lot of women can do this effortlessly. But when you start taking away the choice and making her feel that you must do this, if you that it is your job to do this, it becomes a problem. Now you also said that it is not necessarily a bad thing to conform to some of these religious and traditional beliefs. But then, how can women reconcile this traditional religious belief with the principles of modern feminism and independence? You don't necessarily have to be a feminist to conform to this. It could be just you being independent, you managing your own money. This is 21st century. So women are actually a lot independent, and a lot of these traditional rules, traditional beliefs are obsolete, regardless of how we want to paint it. They're obsolete, they cannot fit
Yes.
into the model of the 21st century woman. So how can they uphold these traditional beliefs that are not bad, the good ones, with of course the principles of the modern woman?
Okay, firstly, to strike a balance, as we have pointed out that these cultural beliefs are being forced on women, yes, we should also acknowledge that this modernization of values for women, that is feminism as it were, yes, is also being subtly forced on women who want the traditional value for themselves. You have
Okay.
seen cases, before I attend to that, I've seen cases where a woman who wants to be a career woman has nothing to do with house chores. They look down upon other women who want this home culture for themselves. So
Yes.
it's a contrast. It's more like a struggle. It's not as though it's just the traditional value that is being imposed upon modernization. It goes both ways.
Yes.
So both one is bullying the other. Okay. Now to reconcile both. Okay. Firstly, is we first need to. It's individual. As a woman, what do you want? What if this is what you want, fine. This is what you want, fine. And if you want to merge both of them, it's for you to now identify these values from this era and these values from this area, and see how you can incorporate them into your own personality. Because we have three things here that we're looking at. First is the values, the cultural values, the modernized values, and the personality. Sometimes your personality might be at war with some particular values. So you first need to know how to what you want, and then know how to merge what you want with your own personality. Okay. Um, Talking about the modern values that are desired or desirable by women, there are so many of them. Okay. However, um, these values that we have adopted from the Western world can be destructive. But
Yes.
again, still identify what they are and then still stick to them and make sure that they're in line with your personality. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, you will tell us how men can support women in their lives. But in the meantime, if you are just joining us, this is Empower Her, brought to you live on Spectrum TV. And today we are discussing the 21st century woman. Let's go on a quick break. Welcome back to Empower Her. And of course, if you are just joining us today, we have been discussing about the 21st century woman. And with me today, I have a man here spitting facts about women. Now, Imo, before we went on a break, I told you that when we come back, you will tell me what role men play to support, or can play rather, to support their women in pursuit of balancing their roles, or balancing the societal expectations with their own personality.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to speak as a man, of course, yes. So this is where the shoe does fit literally. Um, so yes, as a man, we have large roles we can play to create that balance that the women so desire. Okay, it's going to be foolhardy for us to want to um, counteract their wants, counteract this identity that they want to fit into, because it's not going anywhere. It's the new norm. It's what, in fact, it's only going to evolve into new identities, and it's impossible or unwise for us to want to fit them into what was instead of what is or what will be. Okay, so as a man, the first thing is to understand what um, the woman wants. Okay, and then see if, okay, before I even while speaking, something occurred to me. Yes, I think it will become easier if these things are addressed uniquely instead of generically. Okay.
Yeah.
Firstly, we have women general, and we have individual women. Yes. So now, as a man, you are not helping women globally. There are specific women in your lives that you can support or help to become better women
This
in
is
line with
powerful.
what they want to be. A better woman is not your identity of a better woman, but the woman's identity of a better woman. So it's to first understand what this woman wants to be, okay, and then for you to see how you can fit into this was many men who are traditional in context believe that feminists are very difficult to relate with, very difficult um, to have any form of relationship with. I beg to differ because I have friends who are global in perspective, friends who fit into this feminist context, and I have seen them bend some of their ideologies, some of their beliefs, as it were, to take up the traditional identity. I've seen women who say, "Oh, I would never," respectfully speaking, of course, women who say, "Oh, I would never cook for a man." I've seen them render this help, this assistance, cooking, not being to, but doing it willingly. Because firstly, there was an understanding of who they are, and there was an understanding of what they want, and there was a respect for their boundaries, and there was proper communication. So, as a man, one way for you to be supportive is for you to understand these identities that they want, okay, and then for you to accept it, acknowledge it, don't fight it, accept it, and then find out, depending on what that woman wants, how you can play a role, okay. If this woman wants to be a career person, for instance, okay, it's for you to see how you can make her a better career woman instead of a counselor on how being a career woman is not ideal for her. So yes, again, as a man, the ways you can help or be supportive is dependent on the identity that the woman wants to fit into. So yeah, that's that. Thank you.
These are words on marble, literally. You know, there are certain things you said that stood out for me. First, communication. You talked about communication. You have to know what kind of woman this woman is looking out to be, and that is the best way to support the woman. Because I've heard men say, "I want to mold you to be a good woman." So, do you want to mold me to be a good woman,
Mm.
a good version of the woman I want to be, or your own idea of what a perfect woman is? And then you also mentioned something about you cannot You cannot support every woman in the world. You can only support the few women in your catchment zone, the few women in your circle, and that is important, because what is good for Mrs. A might not necessarily be what wants to achieve for her life. So understanding that these women are individuals is very important, and I thank you for looking at these things holistically and putting into perspective that we as human beings, what we want are generally different. Now, opinion, what is the most significant challenge women face in breaking free from limiting standards?
Okay, I would address that from 2 points. First, I would say the most limiting challenge is not the most limiting. Of course, there are cases of limitation, but the most limiting is not exactly society or external factors as is generally believed. The most limiting factor is the woman themselves. Okay,
Internal.
because yes, it is. Because firstly, you see, even these things about values, most values that most women embody in today's world is not um, inherent but adopted. Okay,
Okay.
most women, and this is owing to media in the different forms. Most women come online and they own certain values, and they adopt that value, those values, and embody them, not even taking time to analyze if these are values that are from their internal being, if these are personal values. So the first thing is, when you adopt values that are not in line with your personality, there will be a war with you expressing and embodying these value systems. Yes, and then after that internal struggle has been addressed, we then look at, of course, the external factors, which we've discussed extensively, as the media, religious sectors, and men. Yes, so these are factors from both the side of the woman and the side external factors that can be addressed. Yes.
That is beautiful. Now, how can society better support women in their quest for balance? Because the point is balancing, balance between freedom without compromising their individuality.
Mm. The society's role is narrowed down to understanding and acceptance. Acceptance if these standards are not destructive. Yes, because as much as we might not want to accept some standards that are, however, adaptable, can be destructive. For instance, okay, I wouldn't mention it, but of course, there are ways that even from how a lady might dress, of course, it's your body and all that, but there are ways that you can carry yourself, some values you might adapt to, yes, that are destructive to society at large. So, one way the society can help the woman become a better person and create that balance is understand, acknowledge, and support, contribute, not say support necessarily, contribute. Contributing my, okay, I don't think you should go this way. I think this way will be better for these reasons, not this is how it should be. Yes, so understand, acknowledge, and contribute, not coerce. So, because the society is generic, society is divided into the family, learning institutions, religious institutions. So, coming together as a whole under one umbrella, the society, the role they can play in creating that balance is number one, understanding, number two, acknowledge, and number three, contribute.
Thank you so much. That is amazing. Now, let us look at this from a very different angle. Are there cultural aspects that affect women's freedom in different regions that you feel that we need to address?
The sound has gone off again. I heard, are there cultural aspects that have affected women? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
Okay. Yes. Are there cultural aspects that
Yes.
affect women's freedom?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Firstly, the role of a woman. Okay, that's the role identity. Culturally, a woman's place is at home, limited, of course, to the kitchen and the bedroom. So that's a
It's okay.
cultural belief that has been passed on from generation to generation, and that in itself is limiting to the abilities, to the expressions of a woman, because there are women who want to be more, who genuinely want to do more. Yes, and they genuinely want to do more, but because of that cultural belief of the limitation to the bedroom and the kitchen, it's they can't express themselves well. So that cultural belief in itself is limiting to a woman. Yes.
Thank you so much. Now there's something also that you wrote which got the wheels in my head spinning, and I'd just like to read out a bit of them. You said, but how many women have the freedom to truly be free? I sat down and I
Mm.
read that again and I closed my eyes and I let that sink in. So I want to talk about that. You said that the freedom of women is limited by a lot of things. Now, in just about a minute or two, can you address that?
Um, okay, just firstly, how many women are truly free? It's
Yeah.
one thing to want to be free, it's another thing to be able to be free.
Yes.
Being able to and wanting to are two different things. Yeah, so factors that can contribute to freedom, or yes, number one is the background, which of course also contributes to the limitations of a woman. Where you're from, um, determines your values, because the things you're being told over time contributes to your belief system. Yes. Number two, that's first factor. Your background can contribute to your belief system and your limitation. Your belief system creates your limitations. So number two, how a woman can be free is access to finances. It takes finance. Being free is finance intensive. Yes, because it takes money to express yourself. It takes money to have a voice, especially in today's world where economy is power. Okay, so it takes finances to be free, to be free. And another way a woman can be free is having a strong self-esteem. You cannot, with the way the world is rigged, seemingly rigged against women, you cannot want to be free without having strong self-esteem, because the world will be waged against you. Okay. Another factor that can contribute to freedom is having support systems, because when the world is against you, this may be friends, this may be family, this may be a partner. So having support system that will push you towards freedom is another contributing factor to your freedom. One is the goal, the end product, what you have in mind, where you want to, the freedom you want to attain. Of course, again, freedom is relative, but when you hold on to that goal, that vision in mind, that identity in mind, you will definitely go through whatever hard. But I'll just stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It has been awesome having you on Empower Her. Just as a pattern, what advice do you have for women out there who are listening to you? They are struggling with being a 21st century woman and also balancing that with the cultural outlook of what a woman should be. What advice, just briefly in about 30 seconds or a minute, do you have to give to them as a pattern advice?
Okay. My advice, my counsel would just be, my advice would do what you want to be as a woman. Be um solely influenced by the media and all of that. There has to be what you want. Number two, create systems that would help women. Do not look down upon the woman who are decided to be the traditional woman. It's still very valid. It's still very important in society. And find that the woman you're becoming is not detrimental to society. Make sure that the woman you're becoming does does not cause harm, which that the woman will become contributory.
Merci beaucoup, Imo Esen. It has been awesome having you today on Empower Her. I hope that we can have you
Thank you.
again next time back on the program. Is he still there? At the point, I was totally not hearing him. I do hope
Thank you so
that they
much for
could hear
having
him.
me.
Eh? Ha, I hope that you guys could hear him because me, I could not hear him. I'm done. Yes. Again? I, okay. I should ask the last question again. Imo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
6 minutes. You can hear me? Okay, this last question, please just use 1 minute to
Yes, I
answer.
can.
Let me close up, okay? Hello?
All right.
Your voice was breaking the last one. Okay, it has been awesome having you here on the program. Just as a parting gift to our ladies out there who are listening to you, what advice do you have to give to women who are struggling with what a 21st century woman should be?
Okay, my final counsel will just be a summation of all I have said so far. Number one, firstly, know and understand the woman you want to become. The identity of the woman you want to become shouldn't be majorly influenced by the media. It has to be something that is coming from within. Whether you want to be a modern woman or a traditional woman, both are valid. Just make sure that it's coming from within, not influenced from without. Okay, and have that strong identity image that you want to become. Number two, um, have respect for whatever standards is out there. That if you want to become, if you have decided to become the modern woman, do not look down upon the woman who has decided to be traditional and to be homely. Both identity has a role to play in society, has valid roles to play in society. So none should be looked down upon, none should be abused. Okay. Number
Okay.
three, parting counsel would be that whatever woman, whatever identity you want to become, it has contributory value to society. It is not disadvantageous to the society. It is not detrimental to society. It has a valuable role it's playing to the society at large, because it is then that your value will truly be upheld. So this is where I'll stop for now for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Imo Esen. Merci beaucoup. It has been amazing having you here on Empower Her, and I hope that we can get to have you again and have even more amazing conversation with you here on the program. That has been an amazing conversation. As we bring this episode to a close, remember that creating a balance for the 21st century woman is a collective journey, one that necessitates our understanding, our empathy, and our support. Thank you for joining us on this insightful episode of Empower Her. We appreciate our guests and you, of course, and all those who champion the cause of women striving to balance their lives in a world brimming with expectations. As you continue your journey, stay empowered, stay authentic, and keep seeking the balance that aligns with your aspirations. Meanwhile, don't forget to stay connected with us on Facebook at Spectrum NG, on X at Spectrum T Online, and reach out to me personally on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X at Best Nwachinemere. Your feedback, your questions, your stories are always valued. Until we meet again, this is Best Nwachinemere signing off from Empower Her. Farewell for now, and may your journey towards creating a balance in the 21st century be filled with understanding, with empathy, and with self-discovery. Thank you.